How should you present your music to an MD, accompanist, or a pianist, however you want to be called? What do you call yourself?
Accompanist.
An accompanist.
Yes.
So if you're going in for an audition, you will need to hand your music to the accompanist, and you want to make sure that what they play is what you're expecting and that it's going to help you in your audition. So there's a few things that you need to do to help the pianist to help you. So what if you're using a songbook? Mark?
If you're going to use a songbook, don't bring a brand new off-the-shelf songbook. The reason being, brand new songbooks have a beautifully unbroken spine, which means that as soon as you put it on the music stand, they have a terrible habit of springing shut, which is obviously an absolute nightmare if you're trying to have two hands on the piano. Preferably, if you can bring a book that has a broken spine, I know, terrible, or you don't mind the pianist breaking the spine, I know, terrible, it's better. That means the book will stay open of its own accord.
Okay. So the other option is to either print your sheet music, which is something I tend to do, or photocopy from a book. Are there any rules about the quality of the copy?
Two massively important rules. Make sure it's a clear photocopy, so don't do a copy of a copy of a copy. Make sure everything is as it would look in a book. And also make sure, it seems obvious, that you don't cut off the tops or bottoms of any of the sheet music.
Or the edges.
Or the edges.
I've done that before. Awful. You get halfway through a bar and you don't know what the last few notes are.
Just going to guess.
Oh. Yeah. Does that happen often?
A lot. More than you'd think.
Okay, Mark, I'm here for an audition. There's my sheet music. Is that okay?
Not really.
Why? It's beautifully copied. There's no bits cut off. It's nice and clear. What's wrong with it?
It's not stuck together.
Oh. So you can't have loose sheets?
Not preferable, no. Again, same thing, if you start trying to turn pages rapidly during an audition, they're all going to fly off onto the floor.
And if they fall off, or if there's a wind or a fan, many of the auditions I've been into, there's been a fan blowing, they get blown apart, and then you have to try and find the pages in the right order.
Hilarious but disastrous.
Yes. Okay, so there are a couple of options for how you can then display your sheet music. Ring binders, is that an option?
Ring binders are great. Yeah, happy with that. Obviously, the problem with ring binders is that you end up with single-sided sheets, which just means lots and lots of page turns.
So if you're going to put them into a ring binder, is it better to do double-sided, so print on both sides? Okay, so that's an option. Not an option I've ever gone with, because I find ring binders quite fiddly. So I go with these types of folders. So these are all right, aren't they, Mark?
Very good.
Yeah. Ideally, though, because you can see there's a shine on the paper, I don't know if you can see that on the video, but you can get a matte version of the plastic sheets so that they don't shine as much. That's more helpful,
Even
isn't it?
better still.
Yeah, and try to avoid putting the music at the very front of the book because, again, that has the same problem as the unbroken spine. It doesn't want to sit open very easily. So better for your audition song, better to put it in the middle where it'll sit open naturally and be much easier for your pianist.
Absolutely.
And the last option, and the thing we were always taught to do at the Royal Academy of Music, was to sellotape your sheets together, and then there can be no mistakes. Okay, so the most important thing to remember when you are sticking together your sheet music is the order in which you're sticking them. It sounds like I'm telling you how to suck eggs, but it is something you have to be aware of, because if the pages go 1, 2, and then you turn them over and stick them in that same order, they're then going to be back to front. They're not going to read in the right direction. Your pianist is not going to want to play backwards. So if they're reading 1, 2, you then have to turn the whole thing around so they swap position when you turn them around. I'm sure you work it out, but it is a mistake that I've made countless times, so just be aware of it. Leave a teeny tiny gap between the two. Now this is the fiddly bit. Okay, so then you have one page. Then once you've done the first page, you're going to turn the whole thing over and you're going to stick on the next page. Doing it face up this time. And this is so that the non-sticky edge is always on the outside of the concertina when it's all folded up. So there you see, when you fold that up, it's not sticky there and it's not sticky there. Woohoo! Woohoo! and then you would turn over to do one more. Perfect, well now you know how to present your sheet music effectively and professionally to an MD, accompanist or pianist, however they like to be titled. I do hope you found this helpful. If you did, please show us your thumb because we love a thumb. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell notification button so you don't miss any future uploads. And if there's anything that you would like us to cover in the spectrum of singing and musical theatre and all such types of things, then do leave a comment in the comments box below.